grinds you down.
Anxiety.
Every day the same.
Nausea.
Endless nights in with nothing to say.
Let it all out.
Let's have some music, shall we?
Do you know Voodoo Lady?
Sing a bit.
Take me now, Ray.
Okay, where do you want to go?
You tell me that's not as good as the real thing, eh?
You must have some talent locked up in that body as well.
That comment has put me right off Sex With You forever.
The Comedy Zone, Friday from 9 on BBC Two.
An eccentric composer finding it hard to keep his mind on his music. Tandy Newton and David Thewlis star in the BBC Films premiere of Bernardo Bertolucci's Besieged in 50 minutes. First on BBC Two, as far as Jeremy Clarkson's concerned, Carol Smiley can do it herself.
Thanks very much. Hello and welcome. On the show tonight there is no microwave oven. But I will attempt to siphon petrol using a Hoover. And then I'm going to do something really dangerous. I'm talking to Vinnie Jones. But we begin with DIY. I don't get it. I mean, would you cut your own hair? I do, and as you can see, the results are pretty shabby. You wouldn't take your own appendix out, you wouldn't make your own shoes. So why do you think you can build a shelf? Can you begin to imagine what Rome would have looked like if the Renaissance popes had been into DIY? The thing you must remember about DIY is this. Jesus, who could bring people back from the dead and walk on water, gave up carpentry because it was too difficult. And yet, every week, Handy Andy comes along and tells us it's easy. Handy, it isn't. Okay, this is my daughter's bedroom, which I've been doing up for her. I've built her this kind of bunk bed thing here, which means she can have a friend to stay, you know, a little ladder. I love climbing up those, that's great. Put these shelves on the wall for her here. And I'm particularly proud of this, actually. It's a desk, as you can see. And I thought to myself, why go and spend £50 on a chair, you know? So, there it is. Yep, the doll's house, that's mine. And what I'm going to do now is build a cupboard which will go on the wall here. I'll take you through it step by step. So, I want to cut this piece of wood along here. I've drawn a line, and now I shall attempt to follow it with my saw. Come on. It's starting to go offline. How do you make it come back online again? There we go, look. That's only about half an inch out. That's not bad. Not bad at all. Look what I've got. It's one of these new-fangled power saws, and I'm going to use it to cut the next piece here. Okay, ready? This is a perfectly straight nail, and I want it to go in a perfectly straight line down here and into that bit of wood there. But unfortunately, nails are like moles. They have to surface once in a while, and there's nothing on God's earth that you can do to stop them. Just you watch. This may look like an ordinary household drill, but as soon as you turn it on, you are no longer the operator. You are simply the organic part of what is basically a Terminator. We've fitted it with a special drill cam so you can see the world from its point of view. Okay, what we do is just pop the wall plug into the hole like that and then just knock it in the rest of the way using a hammer until it's flush with the plaster, okay? There we are, an indelible brown smudge. This is called DIY, yes? Do it yourself. So, with one hand I hold the glass in place, with the other I position the hinge, then with the third I reach for a screw and a fourth operate the screwdriver. Luckily, however, this is television, so we can do this. And there we are, all up. Predictable. Still, I do feel a sense of pride, you know, that I did this whole room. There's been a few hiccups, you know, this, and I had to mend the desk. But I put those curtains up. I did those shelves. That bunk is all my own work. Feels good. So it's fairly obvious that I'm hopeless. But my first guest has taken all the tests and has the virus. She is DIY positive. Ladies and gentlemen, Carol Smiley. Hi, how are you? Yeah, I know. Well, it is an affliction. Carol, I worry. Hmm?
Couldn't resist just checking that nice line there.
No, it's all right, I didn't build it. It's quite safe. I worry about changing rooms, I really do, because historians in years to come are going to look back at the late 20th century and everything we've made is going to have fallen apart.
You think it's going to take that long?
The Sun, I was reading a piece the other day that said there's been a housing association in Newcastle, I think. Did you see this story? Who said that changing rooms and Carol Smiley had been responsible for all the tenants in the block of flats trying to make improvements and wrecking it, basically.
I refuse to do this. I'm sure it's, well, your average Sun journalist can't spell Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen. I'm sure it's because Smiley's an easy name, that's all right, it's not my fault.
I write for the Sun. But it's okay, I can't pronounce it. What is it? Lawrence?
Llewellyn Bowen.
He's the one with the...
With the...
And the... all that. I see pink. Him.
Screaming Queen Anne, darling.
What would have happened, do you think, if Louis XIV had gone to Versailles and thought, I tell you what, we won't have big drapes here, we won't do that. Let's use a piece of old cheesecloth that I found for 40p and Handy Andre could come and help me put it up.
You're joking, there is a Handy Andre in one of the other countries. We've got
No.
like 6 or 7 other countries that do changing rooms, their own version.
Oh, so it's a worldwide
Oh,
thing?
it's global, yeah.
Oh, no, so it isn't
We're
just...
destroying it worldwide.
The whole world is going to be changed.
Vandalised beyond belief.
Because he uses a lot of MDF. Do you think...
Cheap, that's the trouble, it's cheap.
It's cheap, but it's carcinogenic. It will give you cancer. It will.
Well, not if you use it properly and you have a mask when you're cutting it.
When you're cutting it.
Yes, when you're sewing it. Or,
Yeah.
you know.
It won't give you cancer then.
No, it won't.
Do I have to wear a mask when I go in the room?
No, because we paint over it. We seal it. It's fine. It'll be all
Right.
right.
Because it's explosive as well. Did you know that?
No, is it?
It is explosive. Yeah, when you're cutting it, if you get a certain amount of MDF dust, it'll blow up and take the whole street out. Yeah, it's a bit of a worry. What's the difference, do you think, between washing up, which is a chore, and putting up a shelf, which is a chore? Can you
Because
see...
you get a sense of satisfaction putting up a shelf if you put it up straight. Washing up is just boring because it's going to need washing up again. And
Well, my
you're
shelf's
fine.
going to need putting up again. and again and again. Because washing up, you end up with something nice and clean, and a shelf, you end up with something on the floor.
In your house?
No, I'm not
Or
kidding.
mine?
Are there any designs at all that you've seen on changing rooms that you'd have in your own house?
Yes.
Yes,
A
what?
couple of weeks ago, Anna Ryder Richardson dyed some blankets for a show, and
Yeah.
they came out the wrong colour, and they're in my spare room. I watched it, and my daughter went, "That didn't end up in the end. It's in our spare room."
No, because this is something I want to talk about. It's the taste angle that worries me.
What taste?
Well, quite.
Taste?
You see, I haven't got any. I never know what goes with what. I mean, if I were left alone to decorate a room, it would be hideous.
But you're not trying to tell me that the average person does not watch changing rooms on the off chance that they might just hate it. You love it when they hate it. Admit it. You love it.
I always hate it, what they've done. You've ruined that
Yes, but if
room.
they hate it, all the better.
Yeah, you've ruined that room, but if we could have a look, and we've got some pictures, I think, I want to show you here. Look at this. It's a lovely Methodist chapel onto which someone has put a yellow PVC porch.
Not me.
Yes,
Not
but they
us.
watched your programme before they did it. They thought, I know what, let's have a yellow PVC porch on the front. And look at this one. I mean, if you drove past that, don't you think, oh no, they've watched my programme and painted their porch on blue and red?
Another loyal viewer.
Have you ever thought about doing, expanding into, I don't know, changing churches?
I think it would go down well.
That'd be a great idea.
We've done a couple of vicarages in the next series.
Really? But what, C of E into Catholic, or...? I think that would be great. Now, this is what I was thinking of churches. If you went in
We've
and
only
you got
got
like...
£500 in 2 days, steady.
But it'd be easy peasy, because if you went into a big Catholic smells and bells one to convert it into a Methodist one, you just take it all out. It'd be even funnier to do it the other way. You could get the Methodist one and go, I see curtains there, and you could have all frilly Thomas the Tank Engine bedspreads slung over everything.
This is too dodgy. I'm too frightened to comment on this. You get letters like this all the time. I don't. I'm kind
Don't you get hate mail?
No, I don't.
Not even from people that say, I've just sawn my table in half by accident.
And it's your fault, Smiley. No, I don't.
Brilliant. Ladies and gentlemen, Carol Smiley. Right. Tonight, we're looking at the country you've all been waiting for. Yes, for the next 7 minutes, the whole of BBC Two, a fifth of all the terrestrial television output in the country, will be devoted solely to Belgium. A country famed throughout the world for the brightness of its streetlights. Really, you can see them from space. The Belgians are very proud of them. But then they would be, because there's absolutely nothing else. Think about it. Every major city has a feature that's etched into the mind of the world. London has Tower Bridge, Sydney has the Opera House, Rio has the Statue of Christ, Paris has the Arc de Triomphe, and Brussels, well, Brussels has this. It's called the Mannequin Piss, and it has inspired generations of Belgians to do absolutely nothing. The Industrial Revolution, the motor car, penicillin, Belgium had nothing to do with any of them, which begs the question, what exactly is Belgium for? General de Gaulle said it was created by the British to annoy the French, but that's rubbish. Belgium was created by the British because we needed somewhere to go and have a good war. We had the Battle of Waterloo there, Ypres, Mons, Passchendaele. Then in 1939, a number of countries put in bids to host the Second World War. It was Poland, France, Norway, even Jersey and Hawaii. But none of these places was able to match the facilities offered by Belgium. It's good tank country, it's flat, there's lots of thick woods to hide behind. And of course there are excellent transport links right into the heart of the Ruhr Valley. And think about it, no one wants to have running street battles in places like Paris or Rome. The buildings might get damaged, but Antwerp and Ghent, who gives a damn? The upshot of all this is that there are more dead people in Belgium than anywhere else in the world. Most of them work here, at the European Parliament. Look at them. They've all failed at politics in their own country and now have to spend the rest of their days in Brussels working out what should go in a sausage. The EU over there employs 54,000 people, and thanks to their expense account living, they spend £3 billion a year, which the Belgians then spend on food. The Belgians love eating. The reason why they failed so spectacularly to make an impression on the world is because their mouths were full at the time. They will eat anything. For centuries, people had been peering inside a mussel and thinking, oh dear, that's disgusting. But then along came a Belgian and thought, that looks delicious. I'll put it in my mouth. The Belgians invented chips. And do you know, they eat 12.5 kilograms of chocolate every year each. That's this much. And of course, they put mayonnaise on everything. The trouble is that spooning mayonnaise out takes time that could better be spent actually eating. So, in 1860, it was a Belgian who invented the internal combustion engine. Now, he didn't think to put it in a car or a tractor. He used it to power a mayonnaise distributor. Let me show you how it works. Got one here. Right. Ready? And there we are. Now, at this point, we wanted to talk to a famous Belgian. I suggested Hercule Poirot, but it turned out he was fictional. The producer went for Tintin, but it seems he's fictional too. I was delighted to find that Audrey Hepburn is Belgian, but sadly she couldn't come on the programme because she's dead. Then we remembered this song. It's called Ça Plane Pour Moi, and it turned out the singer is a rare thing, a famous, non-fictional, non-dead Belgian. Ladies and gentlemen, Plastic Bertrand. Have a seat. Thank you. Sorry, I got a bit carried away with the machine. Why is Belgium so boring?
When you are in Brussels, give me a phone call, because I'm not kidding, there's a real intensive underground nightlife in Brussels.
Well, it would be underground.
Yeah, it's underground.
I've looked and looked everywhere, above ground.
Anyway, it's a nice place to stay because, you know, if you want to have some fun, you can go to Paris. It's 1 hour and a half to go to Paris, or in Amsterdam, or even in London, it's 2 hours and a half. So, and then you have a party there, and then you go back to Brussels and sleep. That's all. It's a fantastic place, you know.
For sleeping?
For sleeping, yes.
How on earth did you get the name Plastic? The thing is, okay, we live in a very interesting country, England, and we call each other things like John and Pete.
That's interesting, in fact. But you forget about Alvin Stardust.
He's not called Plastic?
It's the same. No, it's a bit similar, you know.
Zinc?
No?
Now, Alvin is not a...
Gary Glitter, you know, it sounds like Plastic Bertrand. No?
It's kind of a touchy subject.
Tell me about it. That's true. I'm sorry. When I started my career a long time ago, I used to be a drummer and a singer in the band, and I always was dressed in plastic, but naked.
Naked.
Yeah.
So what's your real name then? Something like Cedric?
Nobody knows it.
Do we want to know his real name?
Woo! How much for this?
Ernest.
Information.
Ernest?
for the first time on TV.
Go on.
I'm going to tell you the truth.
What's your name?
My real name is Roger.
That's kind of boring.
It's very boring. And you know, it's, in Belgium, in France, it's the name of a butcher, you know. Roger the Butcher.
Roger
you know?
the Butcher.
So, you know, when I start, it sounds like this, you know. And when I start my career, I say, ça plane pour moi. I say, and now, ladies and gentlemen, Roger the Butcher are going to sing, ça plane pour moi.
It doesn't
It's
work, does
impossible.
it? It doesn't work. Belgium has existed, so far as I can work out, for 169 years and has so far, with the exception of you, produced no one famous. That's
You're kidding.
pretty
But you're
pathetic.
kidding.
Well, who? Who is famous? Who's Belgian?
You never heard about Magritte?
What, the mad
René
artist?
Magritte, yeah, mad artist, you know.
Yeah, we've got a picture
Of course,
of him
because
somewhere.
it's
Can we
Belgium.
run the picture that we've got of... Look.
It's
Now,
fantastic.
that's
It's fantastic.
It's a stupid painting.
No, it's fantastic. It's,
Have you heard of-
it's surrealistic and it's beautiful. Do you know Johnny Hallyday?
He's French.
He's
Johnny Hallyday is French. He is
No, that's
French.
no, it's Belgian. A real one.
Well, he pretends to be French.
He pretends.
If you
Not
said to him, "Where are you
Not
from?" he'd
him,
say, "France."
No, no, no. It's just because when you are a bit successful in France, no matter the country we are coming from, the French want you to be French. So generally, this Belgian is very successful, so he's French. That's all.
They just steal them.
For example, it's called, you know, Eddie Merckx.
Yes.
Yes, he knows somebody from Belgium.
He's not
Eddie
exactly
Merckx.
famous, is he? If
He
you're
won,
on
he,
the
won, he won five Tours de France. He's a very, very famous... yeah, thank you.
One person has heard
It's
of it.
Belgium.
Yes, there is a Belgian in the audience. I've established that. He's fast asleep. Are you actually fed up with Belgium being used as the sort of Europe's battleground where we have the wars?
Please, make your wars at home with internet, I don't know. But not in Belgium between France and English, no. Please,
Well, that's been a
stop-
while since we fought the
stop
French
those things.
But of course you've got a great big war coming there next year. You've got Euro 2000.
It's a nightmare.
Because the Belgian team, as I recall, after the World Cup, the Belgian football team said the reason they'd performed so badly is because the team doctor had said they couldn't eat chips with
What is
mayonnaise. Chips. Chips. These
What do you
things.
mean,
These
chips?
things. Chips.
But this is not a chip
It
or
is.
chips. This is a Belgian fried potato.
Well,
Belgian
French
fried.
fried.
No.
French fry.
No, not at all, not a French fry.
They're
A
called French-
Belgian fry.
I know you invent
exactly
actually-
with the same that the French used to do with the artist. When something is good, it's French. No, this is Belgian, you know.
It's Belgian.
Wait, what's the word? Chips?
Chips.
It's the only place all over the world you call it chips. Why? You're bizarre.
I'll beat you in a war anytime. He's not clapping. The mannequin piece, your little statue.
Fantastic. This is a present for you.
The-
Look at him. It's beautiful. It's not the original one because normally this corkscrew is not...
So,
and the bottle opener is not like this. But it's a present for you.
Well, that's
But
very
you know, it's
kind.
very nice.
Not very
and
Belgian.
It's very Belgian. It's very useful.
it's quite big for Belgian. Mannequin piece.
Most of countries used to show their power with their emblem or
Arc de Triomphe and so
a
on,
symbol.
and the- yeah.
No, mannequin piece is young, is impudent. It's better than to show your power. This is a very bad idea.
Ladies and gentlemen, Plastic Bertrand. Now then. Have you ever lain awake at night wondering if it's possible to siphon petrol from your car using a vacuum cleaner? I have. You see, if you've ever had to do it manually, you'll know that you either get a lungful of fumes or a mouthful of petrol. And either way, you can't really smoke for a day or two. So what I want you to imagine for the purposes of this demonstration is that this is the petrol tank of my car. Now, we've got to put some petrol in that, which we've got here, making this the most expensive stunt we've ever done on the programme. Have you seen this stuff's going up to £3.41 or something by the new year? 6p to the oil companies and the rest to build bloody speed mountains with. Now we pour it in. That should be enough to keep Prescott in Jags for a day or two. Put that there. Now, we pop the nozzle in, and what we've got to do is get it from in there to in the bag of the vacuum cleaner. So theoretically, when I turn it on, that siphoning process will begin. I do recommend, everyone, that you do use a long extension flex for this. Okay, ready? Let's go. It's working, look! It works! One of my experiments has actually worked! Oh, God, right. Well, how can there be no sink? How can you have a kitchen with no sink? Can I use this on that fire? Can I use it? CO... Right, everyone. Under no circumstances should you ever use a vacuum cleaner to siphon petrol. Right, ever. Right, let's move on. We have a public information film for you. All year, you sit opposite this bloke at work and you've never found him remotely attractive. But at the office party, everything changes. The simple addition of a hat makes him look cute. Hit. And what's he going to do with those sausages? Yes, look, he's put one up his nose. What a wag. As the drink flows, he becomes more and more alluring, more and more irresistible. He's suave. He's sophisticated. And now what's he doing? Oh, look, he's photocopying his bottom. Obviously, you must have him, but where's the deed to take place? This is what you've always wanted. Or this. But this is what you'll get. My, how romantic. Now, of course, the next day you can dismiss this as a quick, meaningless shag, forget it, and move on. But the problem is, he won't. So if you don't want to be leered at all next year, this Christmas, keep your pants on. Have you tried to buy a television recently? It's a nightmare. They just took gobbledygook. So I thought I'd try to explain a few things. Now, you're probably watching me on an ordinary television. I'm not mumbling, and I'm not upside down. So why pay more for digital? Well, you'll be able to get an unlimited number of channels, none of which will be any good. Not unless you enjoy the idea of watching Cakes from Hell. But you will have a lot more control. Let me explain. This programme, right, is being shot on 5 different cameras, and it's the director's job to choose which picture you receive. But if you had digital, you'd be able to use your remote control thingy and choose for yourselves. So we'd have camera 1, right, that's that one, camera 2, camera 3, camera 4, or, and I think you'd probably go for this one, camera 5. And this will be a big bonus when you're watching football matches. You'll be able to see all the options, and then you'll be able to choose which one you want to watch. Great. Eventually, they'll probably mount cameras on players, so you'll be able to see the game from behind David Beckham's fringe. And it's not just football either. Imagine seeing the world from Keith Floyd's perspective. Okay, let's move on. Most programs these days, including this one, are being broadcast in widescreen. But what does that mean? Well, if you're watching it on an ordinary television, it means you can't see the edges of the picture. They're laughing because they know what's there. You probably think it's no big deal, there's just bits of studio, but you'd be wrong. Because to my right we have Sammy, and to my left we have Anita. And what they're going to do now is take all their clothes off. Away you go, girls. Stunned silence. Now you can perhaps see the odd glimpse of elbow and shoulder, maybe even a hint of bottom. But people with widescreen television, and that includes the studio audience who have widescreen monitors, they can see so much more. Look! That's the view they've got. Oh dear, the director's turned it off. And because you don't have digital, you can't get it back, which is a pity because this is very good, isn't it? And this is nothing. You should see what goes on at the edges of the Antiques Roadshow. Hugh Scully goes the whole way. But, well, we don't. We know the bounds of public taste and decency, so we're going to stop it there. Thanks, girls. Right, confession time. I've gone 39 years without a fight. Remarkable, especially when you consider that my next guest has never gone for more than 39 minutes. He was a footballist and now he's a Hollywood megastar. Ladies and gentlemen, Vinnie Jones! Oh, good. How many fights have you actually had in your whole life?
Thousands.
You have said that all the incidents that you were involved in were either accidents or blown up out of all proportion. You stand by that?
A bit of both, I think, yeah. I mean, I was, in my younger days, I was a bit wild and things used to happen before I knew what was happening. It was red card or handcuffs.
So what happened that time when they said you bit someone's nose off?
Yeah, I actually was in a bar and a guy poked his nose in as I was having a bite of a hamburger and I got the blame for it.
You're lying, Vinnie.
That's my story.
And then we've got this as well. Let's put this picture up, okay? Now, was this an accident? I mean, I can see that you're grimacing, as indeed I would be if Paul Gascoigne dropped his knackers into my hand, but...
We actually played cards a week before this and he owed me a £5 and I was trying to get it off him.
I do enjoy watching a good fight, which is handy because you just brought a video out of fighting. We've got some here, okay? Can we play it? I want to see this. Look at this. This is great because it interrupts the football. Yeah, this is fantastic stuff, Vinnie. How come I've always missed out on fighting?
Well, you're always sitting in a car, aren't you, driving down every day? You want to get on the streets and have a drink with the boys. I'm sure you'd have a good... Come down to our pub on Sunday and you'll probably find a couple of fights.
No. Now you're a film star. One of the things that puzzles me is, okay, if you go to America, I've noticed this on the application form to go there, it's have you ever done genocide, are you planning to overthrow the government, have you got a criminal record? Well, how did you get in? Because you got the... You haven't got the ABH.
Yeah, but there's two faults on it. There's one, they say it's either moral or immoral. You know, if it's like mine was provoked. You know, when I done my little sentence, Your Majesty. But it, you know, that was provoked. You know, I mean, the reason they won't let you in is if you're, you know, called Gary Glitter or someone like that.
So if I just go around...
It's immoral.
If I just went around and hit my next-door neighbour for, like, no good reason, they wouldn't have me in.
I never done it for no good reason.
No, but if I did, they wouldn't let me in. Because I'm thinking of going around and hitting my next door neighbour.
Yeah, but I mean, it's, you know, if it's a one-off, it's a lot different. That's the only time I ever got caught.
You've just done a film with Nick Cage, haven't you?
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was a lot different to Lock, Stock. I mean, Lock, Stock was a million pound movie, and this was a $150 million movie. So it was crazy, wacky world, really.
Everybody had the big Winnebagos.
Yeah.
You get one?
Yeah.
Nick Cage have a bigger one?
He had 4 of them.
4?
Yeah.
Why do you need 4?
He had his own car park. We was like over there. Nick was over there with his...
Why didn't you just go and hit him?
Because I quite liked working with him.
Didn't you ever pinch yourself and think, how can this have happened?
Yeah, but, you know, I mean, you do have luck in life, and I do believe if you work hard enough, you make your luck will make your dreams come true. And, you know, after football, I was worried because I didn't really know what way I was going to go. And football's, you know, quite a vicious circle, really, when you're in management. And, you know, and I knew that the fork would come in the road after Lock, Stock because I won some you know, the best actor for British movie and you know, best newcomer and things like that. So I thought, well, there's going to be a crossroads come up soon. And then, you know, literally out of the blue one night, I had a phone call from Jerry Bruckheimer saying, you know, can you be on the plane tomorrow? We want you to come and have a chat with us about this movie we're doing.
But what about learning lines? I mean, we think of you sitting on a beach in LA, but it is mostly just a slog of sitting there going...
Yeah, it's like, you know, tonight, you know, I'll go home tonight and I'll learn the lines for tomorrow.
Because you're in this film with Brad Pitt, aren't you?
Yeah, we're shooting it now. We're actually, we're halfway through it now.
Couldn't hit him, could you? Please?
No, he does quite a bit of hitting in the movie, but...
Who? Not you?
Brad. No, Brad does.
He doesn't have to hit you?
No.
Because I would laugh at that. That's comedy of next year.
But
Brad, it's hurt.
I was quite surprised with Brad, how big he is. I mean, he comes across as quite a small fella, but he's getting on for 6 foot.
Oh, wow.
But his bodyguard is 6 foot wide, so, you know...
You have your old mates around, go, this is Brad, this is my mates.
Yeah, of course I do.
Really?
Yeah, I love, you know, getting over that line, you know. I love getting my mates involved. I mean, I must have had 30 or 40 of my mates, you know, from Watford and Hemel Hempstead, where I'm from, coming over for holiday. And, you know, I do like to sort of fly the flag for the working class person and say, look, come on, you know.
Do you think you've got to calm down?
I have.
You have?
I have, yeah. Yeah, I've got no neighbours near me now.
One of the things I've seen you do, and I want you to do it to me, just know how scary it is. That death stare thing. That's the precursor to...
That's not the death scare, I'm busting to go to the toilet.
All right, then. Ladies and gentlemen, Vinnie Jones.
Brilliant.
See you next Sunday. Take care. Bye.
And that's at the later time of 10 o'clock next Sunday here on BBC Two. It's Victor's 61st birthday, but will it be a happy one? Comedy One Foot in the Grave on BBC One in 10 minutes.
That sounds nice. Very nice. Quick. Hold it, guys. Something different. Different angle. Ready? Till I don't know what to say.
Bigger, tougher, and more brutal than ever!
Robot Wars every Friday at 6:45 on BBC Two.
Makes you ashamed to be human.
Two strangers thrown together by fate. A man obsessed. A woman haunted by the past. A BBC Films premiere of Bernardo Bertolucci's masterpiece, Besieged, in 10 minutes on BBC Two.
Harsh reality first, as BBC Two begins a new series charting the growing concern over human rights, human wrongs. Now a harrowing look at the devastating effects of war on the children of Angola and Sierra Leone.